One of the things that I was frustrated with when I was first starting to paint was knowing how to mix skin tones. It took me a while to learn it, it was rather frustrating because every professor is different, and then the style of painting is different as well. So for me, it took more experimentation and kind of watching YouTube videos, watching other artists and seeing how they do it. I mean, you learn in color theory when you take a color theory class on how to mix colors. You do learn how to mix, how to create different colors and how to create different tones. So it would be intuitive to just know how to mix skin tones, but it's one of the hardest things I think for many beginning artists to create. So this is how I mix my paints. So first you need a palette knife. You can use different ones. I have this long one that I really like to use. I mix my paints in two ways. It just depends on what skin tone I want to achieve, right? So the first way I learned was to mix with titanium white, cadmium yellow, some cadmium red, and French ultramarine blue. And if you notice, those are the primary colors. That's the first method I learned to mix skin tones. The second method I learned from Cesar Santos, an artist that I follow, one of my favorites. He uses light red. This is the method I use the most. Yellow ochre pale and titanium white. Also a little bit of raw umber to tone it down. Alright friends, so the first thing I like to do is use a little bit of titanium white. What I like to do is place my yellow here, and then I'll take the cadmium yellow take some light red, and then we take the cadmium yellow, or excuse me, cadmium red rather, and the final one is ultramarine blue. And then I'll use some raw umber to tone it down. So if you notice here, I have I arranged my colors. So the white, the lightest obviously, I like to have that one right next to it because I'm going to use, so first I'm going to use these three here, okay, and then I'll show you how to mix with the primary colors. Okay, so the first one I like to do is I like to get my white first, okay, and this is going to be for like a light color, and then I like to bring in the light red. There's a lot of color in there, so you don't want to add too much. Okay, so if you notice, we already have a base here, right, of like a light pink. We're already seeing a little bit of the skin tone there, right? And so now what we need to do is put a little bit of yellow, and I like to use this yellow ochre pale. If you notice there, we're already getting a light skin tone. Okay, so we have that. That's for like a really light skin, or the almost even highlights. And if you need to tone it down, let's say you need to tone it down, I can take a little bit of this raw umber. If you notice there, it's already kind of making it darker. And I'll usually use that in order to make the skin tone a little bit more muted, so it can go into the shadows, or the darker areas of the skin where there's less light. Okay, so here's the second way. Okay, the second way is, this is how I've done it for many years already. I'll take a little bit of yellow. This is how I learned it, by the way. Take a little red. This is a little too greenish for me. A tinge of yellow there. I mean, not red. So now it's a little more reddish. Looks like burnt umber a little bit. And then we can bring in a little bit of white. Make sure your palette knife is clean, by the way. Mine isn't completely, if you notice. Okay. I'm not using a lot of paint because I'm just demonstrating here, but in reality, I would mix a little bit more than this. So this one's here a little different. So you could have, you know, two different ways of blending or mixing your paints in order to get a different desired outcome. If you notice, this is more orangey. This is more pinky. So it just depends on the skin tone of the person, right? And more. So there you have it. You have two ways of mixing skin tones or creating skin tones. And if that's too orangey for you, you know, you can always bring a little bit more blue. So that's it, guys. It's basically how I mix my paints in order to create skin tones. I hope this video helped you, and if it did, please consider leaving a comment down below and hitting that like button. It helps my channel tremendously. Thanks again for watching.